T1TL-C, F9-546. Space Exploration Technologies Corp, commonly referred to as SpaceX, successfully launched a Falcon 9 Block 5 rocket with the T1TL-C mission from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. This launch flew 21 Space Development Agency's Tranche 1 transport layer satellites to 630 km low Earth Sun-synchronous orbit. The flight took place on Wednesday, October 15, at 23:06 Coordinated Universal Time or at 4:06 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. This was the second of 6 launches for the Space Development Agency's Tranche 1 transport layer. Falcon booster B-1093 took a southerly trajectory from Space Launch Complex 4 East. After stage separation, the booster re-entered Earth's atmosphere and landed safely atop SpaceX's Of Course I Still Love You autonomous spaceport drone ship in the Pacific. The Falcon 9 first stage booster supporting this mission, tail number B-1093, launched for a 7th time. Tranche 1 transport layer, T1TL. The Tranche 1 constellation will serve as the initial warfighting capability for the Proliferated Warfighter Space Architecture, PWSA, and provide regional persistence for Link 16 and Ka-band military tactical communications, advanced missile tracking and missile warning, and beyond line-of-sight targeting. Once the full Tranche 1 constellation is on orbit, T1 will consist of a total of 154 operational space vehicles, 126 transport layer space vehicles, 28 tracking layer space vehicles. The National Security Space Launch (NSSL) program will launch each of the Space Development Agency (SDA) 10 orbital planes of Tranche 1 satellites. Average cost of each Tranche 1 transport layer, T1TL, space vehicle is approximately $14 million. The first orbital plane of Tranche 1 satellites launched on September 10, 2025, from Vandenberg Space Force Base, California, using Space Launch Complex 4 East, SLC-4E. The launch on September 10 delivered into orbit 21 data transport satellites provided by York Space Systems for the transport layer of the PWSA. Each Tranche 1 transport layer space vehicle is configured with 4 optical communication terminals for satellite-to-satellite and satellite-to-ground laser communications and 2 mission data communication payloads for Link 16 and Ka-band radio frequency, RF, receive transmit capability. Falcon 9 Block 5. Falcon 9 Block 5 is a partially reusable, human-rated, 2-stage-to-orbit, medium-lift launch vehicle designed and manufactured in the United States by SpaceX. It is the 5th major version of the Falcon 9 family and the 3rd version of the Falcon 9 full thrust. It is powered by Merlin 1D engines burning rocket-grade kerosene, RP-1, and liquid oxygen, LOX. Space Launch Complex 4 East, SLC-4E. Space Launch Complex 4, SLC-4, is a launch and landing site at Vandenberg Space Force Base, VSFB, California. It has 2 pads, both of which are used by SpaceX for Falcon 9, one for launch operations, and the other as Landing Zone 4, LZ-4, for SpaceX landings. The complex was previously used by Atlas and Titan rockets between 1963 and 2005. It consisted of 2 launch pads, Space Launch Complex 4 West, SLC-4W, formerly PALC-2-3, and Space Launch Complex 4 East, SLC-4E, formerly PALC-2-4. Both pads were built for use by Atlas Agena rockets, but were later rebuilt to handle Titan rockets. The designation SLC-4 was applied at the time of the conversion to launch Titan launch vehicles. Both pads at Space Launch Complex 4 are currently leased by SpaceX. SLC-4E is leased as a launch site for the Falcon 9 rocket, which first flew from Vandenberg on September 29, 2013, following a 24-month refurbishment program which had started in early 2011. SpaceX began a 5-year lease of Launch Complex 4 West in February 2015 in order to use that area as a landing pad to bring back vertical takeoff, vertical landing, VTVL, return to launch site, RTLS, first stage boosters of the reusable Falcon 9 launch vehicle. That pad was later named by SpaceX as Landing Zone 4, LZ4, and first used operationally for a Falcon 9 booster landing in 2018. Space Development Agency, SDA. The Space Development Agency, SDA, is a United States Space Force direct reporting unit tasked with deploying disruptive space technology. One of the technologies being worked on is space-based missile tracking using large global satellite constellations made up of industry-procured low-cost satellites. The SDA has been managed by the United States Space Force, USSF, since October 2022. By February 2024 the SDA had 38 satellites on orbit. SDA intends to have at least 1,000 satellites in low Earth orbit by 2026. SpaceX. Space Exploration Technologies Corp, commonly referred to as SpaceX, is an American space technology company headquartered at the Starbase development site in Starbase, Texas. Since its founding in 2002, the company has made numerous advances in rocket propulsion, reusable launch vehicles, human spaceflight, and satellite constellation technology. As of 2025, SpaceX is the world's dominant space launch provider, its launch cadence eclipsing all others, including private competitors and national programs like the Chinese space program. SpaceX, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, and the United States Armed Forces work closely together by means of governmental contracts.